My strategy for 2023 is going to be very different than the strategy that I had for the past 2 to 3 years on Etsy. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys 6 things that I'm going to be doing differently on Etsy. And it's 6, it's not 10. I was going to round it up, but why would I give you guys BS things that I'm not actually going to do, but it's for the sake of rounding up to 10. So it's 6. Looking at where Etsy has come and where Etsy is, you have to start rethinking on how you are going to approach selling on Etsy. A lot of Etsy gurus, they're SEO specialists, right? They're really good at SEO. They're really good at keyword research, or they're really good at keyword this and keyword that and ranking this and SEO that. But a lot of them are not artists. They're not creatives. They don't actually make a physical product. They don't have a pottery wheel and they make stuff. They don't have a sewing machine and they sew stuff. They're oftentimes either digital products or a print on demand, and they're all about the SEO. And so you will find a lot of times they're stuck on one way of thinking because that's all they have. They've never actually had their hands make something. Now, there are a lot of gurus that I really enjoy that have really good knowledge on making stuff that I like to listen to, but a lot of them that I find they're really stuck on that SEO and they're not really jiving with what Etsy is all about. And especially going in 2023, you really want to have a good strategy on how to really approach Etsy appropriately. In this video, I want to talk about what are the things that I'm going to be doing as an artist, as a creative person. Every year is different, right? Even though I built this store that now has over 100,000 orders, but the strategy changes and you need to change with the times. Now, for my specific case, with the skill sets that I have 6 things that I'm going to be doing this year. And they might be different for you. They might be different, but maybe one of these out of these 6 or 2 out of these 6 is something appropriate for you. So hopefully you having a slightly better understanding of how you're going to tackle 2023, because I really believe that you want to think about what product are you going to make and how is that going to look different versus another SEO strategy. The first strategy that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be opening up more Etsy shops. Opening up more Etsy shops really does 2 things. So the first reason is that when you open up even more product on your store, you expose yourself to more traffic. I've always had the suspicion that if you take your store with, say, 10 different products and you break it down into 2 separate smaller stores and you take 5 products in one store and 5 products in the other store, my suspicion is that your sales are going to be higher than if all of those were on one store, but that's just my suspicion. But the point still remains, the first point still remains, is that you will expose yourself to more traffic. The second one is when I meet new people, as an artist, as a creative person, when I meet new people, I get inspired with new things, right? If somebody's energetic or they're a really comedic person, that really takes my mind in places of my brain or in places of my creativity I wouldn't have otherwise gone if I hadn't met that person. When I open up a new store, it's going to benefit me to explore those options or to explore those kind of people or explore those kind of products. And that will allow my brain to be a lot more creative and to bring about products and to make products that I wouldn't have otherwise come across. And so that's something I'm looking forward to doing in 2023. Number 2 is maximizing my machines and skills that I have currently. So when I started my Etsy shop, there was 1 product or 2 products that really started to grow, or a niche of products. And for me, it was pet products. And so all the machines that I was buying was to improve the quality or to improve the efficiency of producing that product. And the machines that kind of grown or scaled to, like I have a sublimation printer, I have the heat press, embroidery machines for the dog bandanas. But the thing is, those machines can do other products, and I'm going to be exploring other products that I can do. And or skill. There's a lot of skill that I have. I do a lot of graphic design. Can I use that skill for other products? And one thing I would recommend for you guys is that there are skills that you have that you would be surprised that can make money on Etsy. The third thing I'm going to be doing is focusing on the quality of the listings more than the quantity. And this is something that's not necessarily different, but it's going to be heavier in 2023. Now, my strategy has been, and it still will be to some extent, and that's kind of why I said number 1, but is when you expand yourself to different listings, right? You really post new listings daily or weekly or monthly. You're really trying to grow rapidly, and that's been my strategy. But I'm going to slow down on the rapidness or on the speed of it and improve the quality of the listings and create a system on how can I to create a product that has quality, and I'm able to do it at a timely manner. So focusing on the quality of the listings, that means I'm going to be hiring the photographer more often. That means I'm going to be really thinking about not just photoshopping the design onto the product, but actually engraving. I've been doing like patches, for example, here. I've been designing the patches, and instead of, normally I would just Photoshop it on it, but this time, like, you know what, I'm going to actually just sublimate it on the patch. I'm going to actually engrave it on the leather patch, and I'm actually going to make a video. I'm going to make a good quality photo with the engraving on it. And the other thing is, it does improve conversion. And like I've talked about in my video, sometimes more listings is not better. Sometimes better quality listings. And I've proven that with my ornament shop that I've been doing the videos. If you guys haven't seen those, go and check that out after this video. But sometimes better quality is shown in that store. Better quality has shown to yield me better results. And in fact, one of my ornaments that I have on that store, I physically created it, meaning I've actually printed the ornament, and I took some videos, some photos of actual design, and that's the number one ornament that I have selling. That's kind of like, you know, every shop has that one product. That's the ornament that's selling out of all the Photoshop ones. And I have a bunch of them. That's not a coincidence. Number 4, and this is going to be unique to 2023 in that I have not done in the past. Not only am I going to be opening up new stores, I'm going to be opening up single product stores, or more of those kind of stores. Why am I going to do that? So when somebody is set on buying a particular kind of gift for their friend, let's just say they really want to get a ceramic mug for their friend because their friend is a coffee drinker, and that's the gift that they're going to give their friend. For you to create a store with other gift ideas, right? An engraved flask or some wall hangings or whatever, whatever other ideas you have, if they come to your store, they're less likely to buy other products because they're so focused on that mug. It would be more effective for you to have, when they click on your mug, they're like, oh, that's really cool mug. Let me see what kind of other mugs they have. When they click on your store and they have different variations of mugs on the very first page, you are going to have a better success with that customer than if you had other products. Now, yes, you can make categories or sections on your store, but I feel like it gives a customer much easier usability when your whole store is just that one product. Now, there are certain kind of stores that will have multiple different types of products. For example, if you're in a, say, bridesmaids gift idea store, sometimes bridesmaids, they don't know what they want specifically, or they're putting together a box, a basket of stuff. And so having variations on your store is kind of helpful because they're starting to add more stuff that of different varieties. So there are stores that are appropriate to have many different products, but there are stores that I believe will do better if they were on a separate store. Now, I have this theory, and this is more of a conspiracy thing, where it's like if you had 10 different types of products on one store, or you had 10 different types of product spread out to 2 or 3 stores, I feel like collectively those 2 or 3 stores will have more sales than that one store with 10 items. That's just my feeling that I have been really hearing from other people, that it seems like to me that there's competition that happens within your store within other products. But again, this is not fact. This is just what I've observed on my store. I sell dog collars more than I do bandanas. However, my parents also sell dog collars and they sell bandanas. But because they sell much more bandanas, it seems like they're doing a lot more sales in bandanas and the dog collars per listing. If we're looking at listing to listing, they're doing much less sales than my collars that I sell on my store if I'm comparing listings to listings. Now, it could be just because, hey, they're selling less of that means they're getting less sales overall, but it ranks worse for my parents with the dog collar than for me. So it's just a little conspiracy. Comment on the bottom if you found that to be somewhat true on some of your shops. But that's not the reason, but mostly the reason why I'll be opening up one product store is because of that usability for the customer to really just simply give other options of that one product. Number 5 is I'm going to be upgrading the quality of my existing products. Upgrading the quality is going to be big because I found on a long term, because when you're selling a product, right, there are certain things that you can do to your listing that will affect your conversion rate on a shorter scale, right? So for example, if you have a good thumbnail, a good photography, that's going to affect your conversion rate much sooner, because if you change out the photo, it's the conversion either goes up or conversion goes down. Or you make a sale, the conversion goes up. There's things that you can do on the short term that impacts your listing. But there are things on the long spectrum, on say 3, 4, 5, 6 months, there's something that you can do that will impact it 5-6 months, whether it's positive or negative. And quality is one of those things that people don't focus so much on that does impact it on that long scale. Now, some things when its quality is really bad, then it's going to be a much shorter span on which you're going to be impacted on. But if there are subtleties, right? What kind of thread do I use? What kind of underlining strapping am I using? Can I improve the quality of that? Can I improve the quality of the buckle? Now, I'm always looking for better ways to improve it, but this year I'm going to really look at my product and say, how can I make it even better? Because your customers are going to leave better reviews. They're going to rave about you. They're going to favor your shop more, and that is going to be impacting my conversion rate, or that is going to impact that Etsy recommending my product on a longer term than if I had a less quality product. Okay, the last one kind of has two parts to it. So I'm going to be exploring new skills. I'm going to be exploring new different ways of making stuff. For example, I'm exploring sublimating on wood planks, and I realized you can sublimate on wood. Now, one thing is I'm realizing that you need a poly coating of some sorts because sublimation binds to that material for some reason. And so exploring different techniques will allow me then to be creative. Like, okay, now I can open up a store with signage. Oh, hey, how about if I don't just do signage? What if I do X, Y, and Z? Being more creative allows you to create what I call the X Factor product. And I've talked about that in the video that I will include at the end of this video that you guys should check it out, because it is going to be the difference of why some listings make 10x the sales of everybody else. And even though everybody else has the same photography, they might have the same price, but it is that X factor that the product needs to have in order to really shoot past everybody. Oftentimes we look at all these little niches like, hey, is it the tags that I'm using? Is it the title that I'm using? But fundamentally, the product has no creativity in it. So when I'm going to be expanding the skill set that I have, now I have a lot of skill. I've developed a lot of skill sets over the years. I pretty much know how to use pretty much any machine that people use on Etsy to create the product, whether it's CNC to lasers to printers. I know most of those machines on how to use them, but there's still that craftsmanship that I want to develop, the different kinds of materials that you can mix, the coatings that you can use for certain kind of prints to achieve certain kind of color schemes. I want to explore those things because I want to create a product that really shoots past everybody else despite not having the ideal SEO. Now, some of you guys commented on my ornament shop that had many spelling errors. I'm really horrible on spelling. I came here from Ukraine and I just cannot get spelling down. Like, spelling sucks, and I'm really glad we're no longer a handwriting culture, right? I'm really glad I can dictate a lot of stuff. Still not getting away with spelling it because we're still typing things in, but a lot of my listings that have horrible spelling shoot past all the competition. Why? Because the creativity is there, that X factor is there. And that X factor, like I said, I talk about in this video, so go ahead and check it out.